conservative influencers who claimed they were attacked by Antifa. From the start, the tone was militant. Trump vowed to be very threatening towards Antifa and promised to look very strongly at those who fund them. Noam compared Antifa to MS-13, ISIS, Hamas, and Hezbollah. Supporters cheered, critics called it political theater. Here's the first problem.
Don't woot woot me ever again. You hear me, Atsuko? Never again. I will come to where you're at and make you regret it. That's what I'll do. I can still get into your country as a foreigner, okay?
What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay.
Make Qatar great again. I don't know if I really blame the woman for like dedicating it to Trump or whatever. Like she needs, whoever the American president is, she needs their support. She's in hiding. She's being persecuted. She's trying to get democracy to her country. It's really bad for her. So she had one of two options. I don't think it was a viable option for her to come out and say, fuck Trump, right? Because that would have probably cost her her life. She would have been fucking found and killed. She could have been silent and been like, oh, fuck, now he's going to hate me because I won and he didn't and he thinks he deserves it. That's an option. Or she could have come out and said, hey, we appreciate all the work from Trump. I'm dedicating this to him. We really need him. That was her option. So, I don't know. He's already blowing up all the fucking boats off the speedboats and pleasure cruises and calling them narco drug traffickers. Don't tell me he's not petty enough while she's in hiding from her own government to locate her and then tell the government where she's at. I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm trying to put myself in her shoes. Let's say you were just catapulted to stardom, right? To be fair, most people haven't even heard about her unless you've been following, Venezuelan shit. But most people haven't heard about her. She was nominated by Marco Rubio and some other people in Congress. She's catapulted to stardom, Nobel Peace Prize winner, and the White House immediately come out, started talking shit about her, saying that the Nobel Peace Prize Committee obviously puts politics ahead of peace and blah, blah, blah. Trump should have won, whatever. They're even trying to say that Trump should have won for his brand new Gaza-Israel ceasefire, but they stopped considerations of like what has happened to consider for the Nobel Peace Prize back in January. Anything past January that doesn't fucking work, right? That's what they're voting on. But whatever. Anyways, like they attacked her right off the bat. Now what does she do? She knows that Trump's gunning for her. She knows the White House administration is going to talk shit about her. She knows she's in hiding from her own government. I don't know. I hate the world we live in right now. But we're here either way. Life sucks, then you die. I think that's my new slogan.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. I would like to, before we get started, I know we're probably going to talk about a bunch of different things. I would like to clear some stuff up, okay? There has been a rumor going around about a certain podcaster, and I just want to clear the air here, okay? Before we go any further, I just want to lay it all out there. The rumor is that his bitch tits are getting bigger. I don't know if that's true or not. I've just heard Bert's bitch tits are getting larger. Now, we have to listen to this from both sides, right? There's two sides to every argument. So how does Bert defend his bitch tits? Well, see.
I'm working out. And they say that it looks like I'm growing boobs. I'm working out. And it's starting to pay off. They say that it looks like I'm growing boobs. I'm working.
What? Is someone making you address this? Is there somebody off camera with a gun? Do I need to call for help? They say it looks like I'm growing boobs.
They say that it looks like I'm growing boobs. I'm working out. And it's starting to pay off.
This is workout, by the way. I don't know if you see what's starting to pay off here. But it's mostly side tit. Kind of hanging out in his armpit. I think Bert is a very strong, powerful woman, and this is just the first part of his transition. Bert Little St. James Lynch. That's his, I don't know. That's his middle name.
They said that it looks like I'm growing boobs. I'm working out, and it's starting to pay off. They said that.
There's a couple more funny clips. I don't know who's saying, well, it looks like he's starting to get boobs, but apparently somebody got to him.
He says, I can't make a fist. Meet me in person, son. I'll show you how I make a fist. First of all, I don't usually punch people.
So this is true. This is my fault. This is my fault, okay? Bert's number one defensive strategy is not punching people. That's why he's not great at making a fist, okay? His number one go-to strategy is an impromptu defensive hand job. Because everybody knows if he can finish you quick enough, then immediately after, you're going to be flooded with endorphins and want to go to sleep. And he can scurry away. So Bert does impromptu defensive hand jobs, and then while everybody's making their O face, he just waddles off to get some more of his estrogen because his boobs are coming in. I bet they ache.
He says, I can't make a fist. Meet me in person, son. I'll show you how I make a fist. First of all, I don't usually punch people. I go a different route.
Hand jobs.
Okay.
And if he goes the different route, that's a reach around. Okay. So we have normal route, punching in a fight. Different route, impromptu defensive hand job. It works. I don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I mean? A different route, impromptu defensive reach around hand job. And there you go. That's his whole defensive strategy. And then he finally had to address Ann Gallagher because we brought it up.
One of my old viewers went on his show or went into a chat room with Will.
In a chat room with me. We were locked in, 2 people, 1 room. She basically said that she was tired of him getting shit-faced drunk and calling her early in the morning while he was out gambling. He doesn't address any of that.
One of my old viewers went on his show or went into a chat room with Will and ran her mouth and admitted that she was the Terminator.
We all knew that. She finally admitted it. Everybody was on the edge of they were biting their nails saying, who is this? We all knew who your moderator was.
His show or went into a chat room with Will and ran her mouth and admitted that she was the Terminator. Yes, the Terminator had to be terminated because she was ruining the show with all the people she was kicking out.
Wait, you were telling her to kick everybody out, but she was ruining the show by doing exactly what? You were just kicking people out for saying, hey, and you would be like, I haven't seen that name before. That's one of the trolls.
Because she was ruining the show with all the people she was kicking out.
And Bert was ruining her life, calling her at 4 a.m. drunk at the slot machines, saying he needed more money. Or, potato.
And then I had to go back in and try to let them back in. Some of them I'm not going to let back in. But she completely changed her tune. And I don't care. Change your tune.
Oh, he doesn't care so much that Dr. J Banana cashed in her 401k and sent it to me through buymeacoffee.com/coldbeer. That's not what I meant to say. Sorry. I get hung up on the advertisements. He doesn't care so much. He did a show about how much he doesn't care.
Had to be terminated because she was ruining the show with all.
Imagine anybody else in the world, okay? And they're trying to do some type of project, and every fucking person they bring on, that gets past the, the outer walls, that comes into the inner circle. Oh, they wanted to sleep with me. Oh, they wanted me to do something I didn't want to do. Oh, they tried to force me to do this. Oh, they tried to move in beside me. Oh, they wanted me to be this. Oh, they wanted to steal my show. Oh, they wanted to ban everybody. Oh, they wanted to... Everybody, every fucking person around him is the problem. But he's never been the problem, which is wild.
The people she was kicking out. And then I had to go back in and try to let them back in. Some of them I'm not going to let back in. But she completely changed her tune, and I don't care. Change your tune. You have that right. Go from liking me and loving my cat to hating me and hating my cat. I don't care.
I don't know why he brings, I hate that cat. What? Is that where everybody goes? Everybody hates your cat now?
Change your tune. You have that right. Go from liking me and loving my cat to hating me and hating my cat. I don't care. But we're going to do what we do over here. Bill, one of my old viewers went on his show or went into a chat room with Will.
Oh, there's finally gone.
And ran her mouth.
And Gallagher has left. Sorry, folks. Birds Out Gambling tonight. Show canceled Friday, October 10th, 2025. Yeah, it was, I don't know, pretty good. The best one is definitely this one.
It looks like I'm growing boobs. I'm working out, and it's starting to pay off.
He's got it, guys. He's got it. He's got a new gym membership that he walks to from his one-room apartment with no car. Duh.
Like I'm growing boobs. I'm working out, and it's starting to pay off. They said that it looks like I'm growing boobs.
That is true. Not boobs, udders. I don't know what stage he is in his transition, but
like I'm
I'll support him through all of it, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not scared. He'll make somebody a nice housewife one day. This weird, terrifying piece of propaganda came out. Let's check it out.
Antifa beats journalists. Antifa attacks our police stations. They attack our courthouses. They dox our law enforcement officers. No more. They are a terrorist group, and we are coming after them.
We are here at the White House today to unmask Antifa, to follow the money all the way to the top. If you want to get to the bottom of who...
This has not been edited. This is released directly from the White House.
Who is fomenting this chaos and violence in our country. You must follow the money.
I was a mainstream reporter in Seattle for 10 years before I quit mainstream media, in part due to its refusal to acknowledge the dangers of Antifa and radical left-wing violence.
Part of the problem that we have is that a lot of people refuse to believe that Antifa is real. It is just a made-up thing, but I have seen them. They are real, they are dangerous, and they are violent.
They are an organized, systemic, international criminal enterprise.
I wouldn't trust this cross-eyed son of a bitch with anything.
And what the FBI is going to do is trace the money, follow the funds, and find every single person that was involved in funding the riots. And
this was 1,000% just a big propaganda thing, right? Like, if they're doing this, go do it. This isn't like public, like tracing money back to people who may have donated to a group that you want to take. It has nothing to do with a public address and bringing all these people on that claimed they were attacked by Antifa.
The violent acts of criminality that they're perpetrating on our street.
I've watched Antifa brutally beat, harass, and threaten Americans in the street, but all of that ends with the Trump administration.
I was brutally attacked and almost killed by Antifa in the streets of Seattle. All of my colleagues have been attacked. I can't think of a single one who hasn't. Violence against journalists and police officers in our streets can't stand.
Just days ago, I was in the...
By the way, they claim that they're just journalists. They're there to stir trouble. That's what they do, right? They come in, they start espousing about Trump, they start arguing, they start screaming, and then fucking shit pops off. Then they scream, I'm a journalist trying to report, and I just keep getting attacked.
The Portland jailhouse, and now I'm in the White House. This administration is built different, and Antifa's days are numbered.
And I want to thank President Donald Trump for designating Antifa a terrorist organization, and I'm looking forward to the FBI and the DOJ hunting down these people like the terrorists that they are.
All I gotta say, it's a bad day to be Antifa.
And Antifa's days of using violence and intimidation against their political opposition are over.
And I've continued to report on them over the years, despite the threats of violence and actual violence that's happened.
This guy got got hit by a milkshake one time and became the martyr of Antifa.
Because I owe a thank you to this country, the United States, for settling my parents who were victims of communism in Vietnam.
1 month ago, Charlie Kirk was murdered by a violent left.
There's no way. There's no way that I'd be seen with this motherfucker, Jack Posobiec.
We all saw it, and we all saw thousands of leftists celebrate.
He's also the guy that runs that. What is the other Twitter page that he runs? End Wokeness.
Antifa symbols were found on the bullet casings of the gun used to shoot and kill.
No, they weren't. There was a saying from a video game that said, "Hey, fascist, catch." There was no Antifa bullet casings.
Was murdered by a violent leftist. We all saw it, and we all saw thousands of leftists celebrate it. Antifa symbols were found on the bullet casings of the gun used to shoot and kill my friend.
We won't take it anymore. President Trump is not going to stand for it, and I'm so...
Kristi Noem came out and said that Antifa was like Tren de Aragua or MS-13, that they gotta be rooted out because the evil.
To shoot and kill my friend.
We won't take it anymore. President Trump is not going to stand for it, and I'm so grateful that we have a leader in the White House that understands how we need to fight these sophisticated networks and how we need to take these terrorists out.
I've been attacked by Antifa, doxxed by Antifa, harassed by Antifa, but we're not standing down. We're now coming for you.
In 2016, he was a big Pizzagate guy. I don't know that he started it, but he definitely spread it. Days after the 2016 presidential election, Posobiec live-streamed a visit to Comet Ping Pong Pizzeria at the center of the conspiracy. He was removed by police for recording a child's birthday party that was going on there. Even after the shooting, he continued to promote it. He's a piece of shit. Then they all jumped on the Seth Rich thing. Seth Rich was killed by the Democratic Party. But they had an hour and a half long roundtable here. Hold on.
Thank you very much. I was just dealing with people from the Middle East, Arab people and other people on the potential peace deal for the Middle East. Peace for the Middle East. It's a beautiful phrase, and we hope it's going to come true, but it's very close. And they're doing very well. We have a great team over there, great negotiators, and they're unfortunately great negotiators on the other side also. But it's something I think that will happen, got a good chance of happening. I may go there sometime toward the end of the week, maybe on Sunday, actually, and we'll see. But there's a very good chance that negotiations are going along very well. We're dealing with Hamas and many of the countries. As you know, we have all of the Muslim countries are included. All of the Arab countries are included. Very rich countries and some that are not so rich, but just about everybody's included. It's never happened before, nothing like that.
What the fuck does it matter? Very rich countries and some not so rich. What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
That's happened before, and our final negotiation, as you know, is with Hamas, and it seems to be going well. So we'll let you know. If that's the case, we'll be leaving probably on Sunday, maybe Saturday, maybe a little later than Saturday evening, but that seems to be our schedule. It should be clear to all Americans that we have a very serious left-wing terror threat in our country. Radicals associated with the domestic terror group Antifa, that you've heard a lot about lately, and I've heard a lot about them for 10 years. And other far-left extremists have been carrying out a campaign of violence against ICE agents and other officials charged with enforcing federal law. In Chicago, anarchists have surveilled at least 4 local ICE facilities and posted diagrams of the buildings online, meaning nothing but bad, accompanied by photos of specific ICE agents that they're targeting, one in particular who's a top person and a great patriot. In July, approximately a dozen Antifa-aligned militants stormed the ICE facility in Texas and then lured officers out of the building before firing dozens of rounds at police.
A bunch of people have been asking me about the explosion. It's in the explosion that happened in Tennessee is in an explosives manufacturer, as far as I know. There was one confirmed dead, but a bunch of people missing, probably just fucking evaporated by it was a huge explosion. But that's like 6.5 hours away that's on the other side of Nashville. People don't realize that Tennessee's so fucking long, it takes like 10 hours to drive across it. And I'm as far east as you can get. You can't get more, well, you can, a couple more counties, but basically I'm on the North Carolina line. And this happened on the other side of fucking Nashville, like going towards Memphis. It's a long ways away from me.
They were crazy, frankly, shooting one Texas officer in the neck. And in Portland, Oregon, Antifa thugs have repeatedly attacked our officers and laid siege to federal property in an attempt to violently stop the execution of federal law. Everything we're doing is very lawful. What they're doing is not.
You guys want to see the latest siege on the ICE facility in Portland? It's pretty bad, to be honest with you. I don't know that Portland will ever recover. Anytime someone mentions the word Portland, People are going to see these fucking images and say, hell no, I'm not going there. You won't go to a concert. You won't go to a ball game. You won't go to visit. It's not worth dying for. We ought to just wipe it off the map and just be done with it, okay? It's not worth it. Look how horrible this is. Man. I wouldn't trust my kids there. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't take my wife there. What, so they could put her in an inflatable suit? No fucking way, dude. No fucking way. That's what it looks like. A fucking prisoner of war camp. I can't believe. Here's another one. Hold on. The videos just keep getting worse and worse. Oh my God. I'm going to be sick. If you've got children in the room, please ask them to leave. That one's got gills. That's an axolotl, bro. A fucking axolotl. Yes, they're having a dance contest. I don't want to play the audio because it's fucking copyrighted music, but there you go. It's getting bad. Jeffrey the giraffe. Who brings a goddamn axolotl to a gunfight? Lunatics. The peacock. So we might as well just go to fucking every random McNally road atlas and just erase Portland. Give it to the leftists. I don't know what to tell you. I won't be there. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear Antifa and their costumes.
Not lawful. And what the governor and the mayor of, as an example, you could say of Portland, and you can say certainly of Chicago, is not lawful what they're doing. They have to be very careful. In addition, 2 weeks ago, radical left terrorists in Dallas conducted a sniper attack on a local ICE facility, killing 2 people and leaving behind a note that read, "Hopefully this will give ICE agents some real terror." That's bad. This attack came the very same month that Charlie Kirk was assassinated by a far-left extremist who inscribed the words, "Hey, fascist, catch," meaning catch the bullet, onto the...
No. I mean, catch this fucking load, Charlie.
Bullet shelf itself. The epidemic of left-wing violence and Antifa-inspired terror has been escalating for nearly a decade. At universities, Antifa has organized riotous mobs to attack campus speakers. I see it all the time. And these are agitators.
Catch this money shot.
Anarchists. And they're paid. And you'll find that out. You'll be finding it out very soon. You should see what we have on these people. These are bad people. These are people that want to destroy our country. We're not going to let it happen. They've used armed gangs to assault local police in cities nationwide, and they've attacked journalists reporting on their crimes. So the journalists are reporting their crimes. Don't worry, you're very safe. I hope that's not going to turn you around. But they have been very threatening to people. But we're going to be very threatening to them, far more threatening to them than they ever were with us. And that includes the people that fund them.
Could you imagine a reason? Let's just spitball ideas here. Could you imagine a reason that the people protesting may be extremely protective, partially, but maybe all the way to the point of becoming hostile when they're trying to protect their faces and identities? Is there any extenuating circumstances? They would be like, hey, don't record me. Hey, we don't want you recording our faces. Hey, we don't want to be on your news. Seems kind of weird, especially when the fucking president of the United States is going after them as if they were a gang of drug lords.
Probably some of the people I know, some of the people I dine with, but if they do, they're in deep trouble. So we're going to be looking very strongly at the people that are funding these operations. When you see the signs, and they're all made out of a beautiful paper, beautiful, nice, stiff, very expensive paper with beautiful wood handles, all the same color. They come from very expensive printing machines. These are not people that write out their signs in a basement that believe in something. These are paid anarchists. At least 3 of these courageous journalists have personally been victims of Antifa attacks. Andy No has been repeatedly beaten by Antifa thugs for his work in Andy is a very serious person, too, I have to tell you. I've been watching him for a long time. Is Andy here? That's what I thought. Hello, Andy. I thought that was you. You're looking better than you do out on the streets, huh?
He doesn't know who anybody is.
Looking much better. It's nice to have you. You feel a little safer here, I think, maybe. Well, not that safe because you have them. Don't have to worry about that. But thank you very much. Andy No has been repeatedly beaten by Antifa, and including one assault that left him with a brain hemorrhage. Only days ago, Nick Sortor was assaulted in Portland by a flag-burning mob, and we've made it a 1-year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the court said, yeah, freedom of speech. But what has happened?
By the way, he tried to tell people Andy No tried to tell people after he got hit in the head by a milkshake. It wasn't thrown at him. It was just random. Like, it came over a crowd, and it happened to hit him in the face, and he's covered in milkshake. He tried to tell people that it was concrete, that they put concrete in milkshake cups to make it look like milkshake, but he was actually being hit by a concrete block. He tried to bring a lawsuit against them and lost them all. It was here's the picture.
Is when they burn a flag, it agitates and irritates crowds. I've never seen anything like it on both sides, and you end up with riots. So we're going on that basis. We're looking at it not from the freedom of speech, which I always felt strong.
It was, so people were like, so basically he was on social media saying that Antifa tried to kill him, and then the picture made its round, and people were like, it was a fucking, or the video made its round, and people were like, it was a fucking milkshake. Then he tried to like almost like suppose, he's like, oh, well, you don't think they could put other things in milkshakes? Like, what if it would have been gasoline and someone tried to set me on fire? Or what if they put concrete in it? And the concrete thing kind of grabbed some attention. So then he started going with that. Like, it could have had concrete. I think it did have concrete. It was a concrete milkshake. Like, what the fuck? Even if it had been a concrete milkshake in that fucking little cup and it's still wet, it's not hardened, it's not much worse than fucking ice cream.
Strongly about, but never passed the courts. This is what they do: is they incite. When you burn an American flag, you incite tremendous violence. We have many examples of it, many examples of it, and it's actually down on tape. And you see things happen that just don't happen unless it's a flag that's burning. Very recently, Katie Davis Court was hit in the face with a flagpole.
Here it is. Anti-fascist protest groups such as Rose City Antifa in Portland are often informal, rather than organized nonprofits. And it's unclear whether protesters who chased down Andy No could be considered members of a Rose City formation of Antifa. The protesters were anonymous and wearing masks, which No and others often hail as proof of some broad conspiracy. Rumors and all the memes, some started by Andy No, of leftists throwing milkshakes full of wet concrete that day in 2019 have all been debunked.
By an Antifa radical, leaving her with a very blackened eye. So, Katie, thank you very much. And I'd like to also say that I watched Nick. Where's Nick? Is Nick here? Nick? Hi, Nick. That was a rough time you went through. I hope you got my little note. I wrote you a note.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I helped a lot. It was a difficult situation. It was very stressful, and your note helped a lot.
Basically, the reason the Andy No case is important is he tried to tie all these people together. Like, people that are protesting and potentially wearing masks or wearing black bloc, like blacked out and face covered. They're all the same, and he tried to take them to court and say that he was targeted by a group. And I think he was suing at one time for like $900,000. And then a bunch of the defendants got dropped because there was nothing linking to them. He didn't even know who the person that threw the milkshake, or there was another incident where he got in a fight and was tackled and beat up. We don't even know who those people are, but he named the people that publicly associated with the Rose City Antifa as defendants, as if they gave marching orders and told these people below them, unnamed, what to do and to attack him, and it failed miserably. So I don't think a court's going to find these people are wearing masks in protest and they're Antifa. I don't think that's going to happen anyways.
I thought it was terrible, actually. I thought it was terrible. So we'll talk about it a little bit. Under the last administration, the Department of Justice targeted faithful Catholics, Christians, and patriotic parents as domestic extremists. They said, oh, they're extreme because they believe in God. They're extreme because they go to a Catholic church, or evangelicals. Everybody was under the gun.
The evidence overwhelmingly showed that identifying an infamous provocateur, so this is where I have his case hinged. When he would show up somewhere because he lied repeatedly, spread false information, doxed people, got leftists attacked, basically journalists and media personalities, politicians, people on the street. He would dox them and get them attacked and harassed. When he shows up at a protest, everybody would say, that's Andy No, that's Andy No, that's him, that's Andy No, that's Andy No. Everybody should know. Don't talk to him. Don't do an interview with him. Don't let him get you on your camera. That's Andy No. They would identify him. Now, they were identifying him to protect themselves because of the stuff that he would start online, had a huge following to start online. He claims they were identifying him to attack him.
Unless you were a really bad, sick person, then they left you alone. Under the Trump administration, we're going after Antifa criminals and all who funded.
Oh, I didn't finish reading the statement. The evidence overwhelmingly showed that identifying an infamous provocateur is still protected speech and does not amount to assault and battery.
Their campaigns are in serious trouble, and we have a lot of records already, a lot of surprises, a lot of bad surprises. It's people that you would never think. I want to thank Attorney General Pam Bondi, who, by the way, yesterday was incredible in Congress. It was amazing, and she just did it from the heart. And the brain, because she's very smart, in all fairness, but she did it from the heart, and she did it incredible. Everybody was talking about it. She exposed some of these fake senators, these terrible senators, people like Blumenthal that had a phony war record. For 20 years, he talked about what a hero he was, and it turned out he never went to Vietnam. For 20 years, he talked about being a hero in Vietnam, then it was exposed.
When Andy No got hit by the milkshake, he basically changed his entire persona to being the anti-Antifa guy, right? He pivoted. He was trying to be a legitimate journalist, it seemed like, before that, even though he did lean right and blah, 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 whatever. He came out as one of these, I used to be leftist, but then they did this to me, and now he's set on unmasking Antifa, and it's your teachers, and it's your politicians, and it's George Soros, and it was just everything.
When he said what platoon he was with, and it was exposed that somebody was watching from that particular platoon. They said he was never with us, and then he went out and he cried and he was ready to drop out of the election. And
yes,
disgraceful. And then
almost all of them are the provocateurs, or the ones that end up getting their ass beat, or something happens, a phone slipped out of their hand or whatever. Then they claim there was a girl that just faked this shit. Hold on. There was a girl that just put up it's that blonde-headed girl, I guess. She just put up an AI photo. Somebody went through her photo and found that on her shirt, none of the lines matched up, which is a clear sign that it's been fucked with through AI. Like the texture just disappeared on part of her shirt. I don't know who pointed that out, but it is that blonde girl.
He looks at people like Pam and he starts criticizing her, and she's a patriot. And they got to do something with that. You know,
I'm not saying she doesn't have a black eye. She does have a black eye. I think it was made to look a lot worse.
Young congressman that's right now in jail for lying about where he went to college and other things. It was, frankly not good. It was pretty bad. But it was nothing compared to Blumenthal. I mean,
two visuals of conservative influencer Katie Davis Court, both supposedly taken
Davis Court, that's right,
during the Antifa roundtable at the White House. But look,
pictures from the same exact day.
Look closely. The black eye she claimed came from a flagpole assault in Portland. It looks completely different in each image. And beyond that, her face doesn't even match. Different shape, different features. And it's not just these photos. Many of the Portland protest visuals show clear AI red flags. It's time to ask why the White House and Trump-friendly influencers are flooding social media and TV with AI-manipulated images without disclosure. I break it all down in my latest Safe Online Futures subset.
I wonder if we can find the one that did the breakdown of like her shirt and stuff. Hold on. I just saw a video on it today. There she is with Jesse Waters.
Antifa, wow, that is quite a shiner. You all right? Oh, yeah.
There's a filter or something going on her face. Look at this.
By Antifa.
Something's going on there. That's not natural.
That is quite a shiner. You all right?
Oh, yeah, I definitely have a black eye. I, too, was in Portland, and I received this very real black eye that I definitely have from Antifa.
You say it's just one city block. Is that even true?
It's actually several blocks. It's not one. It's not two. It's 3 war blocks.
So that is what it's like on the ground here in Portland. The Trump administration is absolutely correct in deploying federal troops here. I got assaulted, and I immediately ran to a Portland police officer and said, "This is my assault suspect. Can you guys finally do something?"
And I caught them, and they said, "What are you going to do about it? I'm Antifa and a cop."
Portland police refused to come in. I had 3 officers just standing there watching me.
The police who we suspect are Antifa.
I would consider them Antifa at this point. Why not?
Would not enter the war zone.
I would consider the police Antifa at this point. Why not? They know, 100%, they know this will get them an attaboy from the White House right now. And when they're unknown or very lesser known social media people, and they can get a fucking retweet from goddamn Trump and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, they know what they're doing.
Feel like Portland officials formed some sort of alliance with Antifa?
Oh, absolutely.
No, yeah, literally everybody is Antifa.
Trump administration needs to start treating Antifa like ISIS, the terrorists that they are, and put an end to them here for good.
ISIS. Makes sense.
That means no more fraud suits for you, Portland.
They're trying to shield the public from what's going on down on the ground.
Even though I have this very real black...
Hell, I mean, I might do it. I don't know. If I saw I should have got in on the grifter movement when it started earlier. When we were making fun of everybody back in the day, I should have been a QAnon guy. Hell, I might do this. I might fucking fly to Portland, take a picture that says, like, welcome to Portland, and then come back with a black eye. I don't know.
From Antifa. I'm not afraid to show you the footage I got in Portland, what they're trying to hide from you. Check this out. War zone. Police retreating because they're going back to Antifa headquarters.
4 months worth of video footage showing warlike scenes happening here.
Warlike footage in 1, 2, 3.
God, stay safe. You're a very, very brave young reporter.
Thank you. We are brave.
You got to protect yourself. These people look very dangerous.
So dangerous.
I'm glad
If she's up the contrast or something, I don't know what the fuck's going on with her forehead.
it wasn't worth, Katie.
Yeah, I'm really glad it wasn't worth.
It's definitely a filter.
Oh my God, Jesse, what the fuck? It's still recording. I'm just a really fast healer.
Your eye looks better. How's it feeling, Katie?
It definitely still hurts, but it is healing a little bit, so that's good.
Good. So the Portland Police Department is blaming you for getting jabbed in the eye.
Yeah, can you believe this? So not only did Portland police refuse to detain my assault suspect that I hand-delivered to them, they submitted court testimony in a court of law blaming me for my own assault and falsely accusing me of being a...
Because she chased them down. Right. She was an agitator. She chased them down for like 30 minutes.
A protester. I have taken this as a declaration of war against myself, and it's a battle that I am determined to win. Portland police will have you believe that they have the situation under control and that federal intervention is not needed, but that couldn't be farther from the truth.
We can see the communications from the ICE facility saying, nothing's going on. No, it's all good. Pretty quiet tonight. Just some people out there dancing. All good. Like, why is the ICE facility telling the local police that?
The truth is that Portland police has had zero ground presence outside of ICE since late June until now. They have abandoned the citizens of Portland, leaving them to fend for themselves against domestic terrorists who are assaulting, maiming, who really actually want to kill their political opponents. But
it's literally less than a block. It's like 30 people on a fucking street corner.
Most importantly, I think is worth mentioning.
Sending the 82nd Airborne.
Is Portland police has abandoned their brothers and sisters in law enforcement, the men and women of ICE and FPS who have faced relentless attacks for the past 4 months. Portland police is in charge of this zone, and they are doing absolutely nothing about the rioters. And now they have taken it upon themselves to actually arrest journalists who are having to defend them.
And Jesse Waters is not afraid to lie. Hold on. Check this out.
Fox News just got exposed for something that is extremely embarrassing even for them.
Last week, Jesse Waters spoke to a man named Eric who claimed he was formerly a member of Antifa. 2 years ago, Waters interviewed Raymond Mundo Mendoza, a former Mexican mafia member. Some folks thought the men looked similar. Yeah, it's the exact same guy.
Jesse Waters recently interviewed a man claiming to be a former Antifa member.
Hold on, I'll zoom in. You can see it. It's the exact same guy. And it looks an awful lot like the guy that fucking claims he shot bin Laden. That's the same guy, dude. It's the same fucking guy. In one of the pictures, he's even wearing the same hat.
Named Eric. But people are noticing something very strange. Eric looks very similar to another guy Jesse Waters interviewed 2 years ago. He claimed this guy was...
Hold on. Let's just type in Eric instead of Antifa.
Fox News just got exposed for something that is...
That's the one we were just watching. We'll go through some more.
So, there's an error, especially when you're younger, that, you're out here and you're doing something, and that's very appealing.
No, sir. I can tell you for a fact, contrary to that, I kind of laughed
That's his Mexican accent, by the way.
when I saw two things.
What are we doing here? I mean, really, did you not hear
Two
how that
things.
Mexican accent sounds? And look, they're obviously
Two things.
We got insider information on Derek Chauvin. We got an Antifa member speaking out. The guy in the
No one ever believed this, right? I thought the guy might have just been trolling them. Like saying I'm Antifa just to get on the news and saying stupid stuff, but apparently not.
So Jesse Waters interviewed a former Antifa member. Did you now? People, if you know anyone who still watches Jesse Waters or Fox News in 2025, you have an obligation to unleash an ungodly amount of ridicule. Approaching right from Cincinnati. He just belts that shit out because they're anti-heroes in World War II. The checks. So what?
It's fucking insane the links they'll go to be like, this is a former Antifa member, and he'll tell your parents and grandparents how horrible he is. Let me see if I can find this picture. Hold on just a second. This one looks close. All right, look at the eyes, because that's all we can see, okay? All right, look at those eyes. See the eyes? Look at those eyes. Look at those eyes. Pretty crazy, no? I'm not saying 100% I can tell this is the same guy, blah, blah, blah. It looks like the same guy. It looks exactly like him. Here's two full screen images. That guy. That guy. This one is the Mexican cartel member. This was the Antifa member. I don't know. It's pretty fucking close.
What Blumenthal did, he was for 20 years a hero, a great war hero. And then he sits back and, sanctimonious kind of a guy, looks at how dare you do this to the American public, What a fake. But I thought Pam was incredible yesterday, as well as Secretary Christie Noem, who's really out there courageously, and I appreciate it, Christie, amazing what you're doing. FBI Director Kash Patel, who's really coming up with some great information, Kash. It's great. Keep it coming because there's plenty of it. Deputy Attorney General, one of the best lawyers you'll ever find. Carte Blanche, who I know personally is a good...
Rob O'Neill is the guy's name.
Good job. Let me ask Attorney General Bondi to say a few words, and then we'll follow it up with Secretary Noem and Director Patel. And we're going to have some of the people around the table, very courageous people, and they're going to be talking journalists, almost all, and they're going to be talking, and we'll take some questions from the press at the end. Okay, Pam, please.
Thank you, President Trump. And as you made clear, Antifa is a domestic left-wing terrorist organization. We've seen them on video for years because they wanted to be seen and they got away with it. They beat journalists, they attack courthouses, they attack police stations, they dox and assault our law enforcement officers. The Biden administration let them commit these crimes with total impunity for years. So did Democrat leaders like Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson. Last week, independent journalist Nick Sorter was arrested just for protecting himself against Antifa.
Oh shit, Jack Posobiec, we were just talking about. He was one of the ones that helped promote the concrete milkshake thing.
Online, and I called Nick.
I forgot about that.
He did all
Miles Chong.
American flag from being burned. He was pushed down and assaulted, yet the local police arrested Nick, not the Antifa thugs who did this to him. Antifa feels empowered to operate in the open because weak Democrats have turned a blind eye to their actions. Their hatred for President Trump and for law and order agendas fuels their violence. We've seen more than 1,000% increase in attacks against our ICE agents since January 20th. Secretary Noem is out there fighting for you firsthand to keep our federal officers safe, to keep our federal buildings safe, and we're not going to have it anymore, these thugs. We saw what's happening in Portland and Chicago, and you saw what happened in Dallas. No longer. This is not activism, it's anarchy. We can't and we will not let masked terrorists burn our buildings, attack our law enforcement, and intimidate our communities. Under your leadership, President Trump, we're deploying the full might of the federal law enforcement to crack down on Antifa and other domestic terrorist organizations led by Stephen Miller. And Stephen, thank you for everything you're doing. Last week, I issued a memo ordering our federal law enforcement agents, DEA, FBI, U.S. Marshals, and ATF to protect ICE officers from Antifa and other radical left-wing violence. Director Patel has been going non-stop. He and Deputy Attorney General Blanche were in Chicago yesterday.
Oh, and even Fox News shared it, and their claim was that the cement wouldn't necessarily hurt much more, like wet cement in a cup. It's probably a little bit more dense than like a thick milkshake. But their claim was because it was quick dry cement that it would burn people. It would burn them.
While Secretary Noem was in Portland, we are around this country fighting against this domestic terrorism. We had Apple and Google take down the ICE block apps. Hope they continue to comply with that. It's threatening the safety of our federal law enforcement officers. We're not going to stop at just arresting the violent criminals we can see in the streets. Fighting crime is more than just getting the bad guy off the streets. It's breaking down the organization brick by brick. Just like we did with cartels, we're going to take the same approach, President Trump, with Antifa. Destroy the entire organization from top to bottom. We're going to take them apart. Thanks to your bold leadership and the designation of Antifa as a terrorist organization, which is exactly what they are, Americans will no longer tolerate their unhinged violence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Christy.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for hosting today and focusing on Antifa and the terrorists that they are. Let's not make any mistake. These individuals do not just want to threaten our law enforcement officers, threaten our journalists, and the citizens of this country. They want to kill them. Their agenda is to destroy the American people and our way of life, and this president is standing in their way. He is stopping them from bringing their death and their destruction to the individual citizens in this country that just want to raise their kids and their grandkids in peace and in safety. I want to also thank everyone around this table.
Well, they're literally, they just don't go to the ICE facility at night.
For being so bold and so brave, for standing up and recognizing the threat that Antifa is to our way of life, by recognizing how advanced they are, how sophisticated they're.
If your goal is to just be ignored and raise your family and live a peaceful life, the fuck are you doing at the ICE facility at 3 a.m.? Not that it's any more dangerous there than anywhere else, but even their premise is weird. I just want to raise my kids and live a quiet, simple life. That's why I'm at the ICE facility every night fighting Antifa.
Their networks are, how they've infiltrated our entire country, and we're seeing them play out with their tactics from city to city, and how they have built out their funding mechanisms. And sir, I also want to thank our Treasury Secretary for his work in getting to the bottom of these funding mechanisms and individuals who are perpetuating this violence on our American cities. I was in Portland yesterday and had the chance to visit with the governor of Oregon and also the mayor. They're in town, and they are absolutely covering up.
They wouldn't let poor Kristi Noem take a piss. By the way, the photo that the right wing is showing of Kristi Noem on top of the ICE headquarters, like having this weird stare off with Antifa, there's another angle of that picture, okay? And all of Fox News has been showing it about how strong she is, that she's not going to back down. And it was literally 3 people, and one of them was in a chicken costume. That's the stare down. It was 3 people, and one of them was dressed as a goddamn 6-foot-tall chicken. You can't break her.
The terrorism that is hitting their streets. While you talked about some of the stories of our ICE agents, our border.
She's a bad bitch.
How they have been attacked, how they have been shot at, injured, the damage that they've done. These leaders in these local cities, along with Pritzker and Johnson, ignore what's going on, or sir, they're helping Antifa cover it up. We have arrested dozens of individuals that are Antifa members or affiliated with them, and I want to thank our Attorney General for prosecuting them and making sure they never see the light of day again. They have been so bold in making sure we're bringing those individuals to justice. One of the individuals we arrested recently in Portland was the girlfriend of one of the founders of Antifa, and that we are hoping that as we go after her, interview her, and prosecute her, we will get more and more information about the network and how we can root them out and eliminate them from the existence of American society. I want to thank the new journalists here today.
This is the other angle. At the exact same time they got that picture. Let me see if I can make it full screen. This is the picture where she was having the stare down with Antifa, saying, we won't back down, we'll protect our officers, blah, blah, blah. Wait and see who's standing down there. Benny Johnson's the one who fucking outed her. Who's down there, Benny? Show us these people. Oh, it's a bunch of reporters and a fucking chicken! Show us, Benny. Show us. This is the famous picture that they're all sharing. She will not be silent. She will not back down. She will stand up to 6-foot-tall poultry anytime she's asked. She's had so many fillers she can't even speak normally. That's right. She said it. So is this unusual or do you always have this? And he's like, yes, right now this is about what it's always like. It's a bunch of reporters with cameras and a chicken. Did you see where ICE called the cops? Hold on. ICE calls cops on CBS News. The CBS News cameraman is trying to get B-roll at the ICE facility, just recording the gate and the building and shit, right? ICE calls the police and says that someone's like attacking their gate. And the police officer comes out and is like, they're making false reports. Hold on. Isn't there, I want to find a video of it. Not there. Literally, the camera guy's like, no, it's just been us. We've been recording here for like 30 or 40 minutes. When did they call this in? Just now. Just now.
Back to Broadview now, where village officials sent a strong message to the feds this week. They do not want ICE operating its detention center in their town.
Now the Broadview police chief says ICE agents are draining the resources of his department and the community by making false 911 calls. And what you are about to see is one of them. Our Dave Savini investigates.
Yeah. You are watching as Broadview police respond to a 911 call, claiming someone was tampering with a gate at the ICE detention facility there.
Someone's tampering with the gate at the ICE detention facility.
Body camera footage obtained by the CBS News Chicago.
And they're rolling out. They're doing their thing. This is how they would respond if anybody was in trouble, right? They're running to their cars. They're speeding there, lights and sirens.
Shows several Broadview police officers respond to an alleged homeland security threat. The gate in question is where ICE takes detained immigrants for processing.
Look. It's the cameraman, it's the operator, and probably like one of the producers.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
Not much.
How are you?
Good. We got a call of subjects trying to climb over the fence or something.
No, not since we've been here.
But when police arrive, all they find is two people and a camera. Our CBS photographer filming the exterior of the building with a CBS security guard by his side.
Oh, it's his security guard. I'm sorry. That's it. And they've been filming there for like 30 minutes. Someone's tampering with our gate. We need police here now.
You guys didn't tamper with anything.
No. The 911 call claiming someone was tampering with the gate came from an ICE agent. According to this incident report, an ICE agent called police for help.
But he can't go and try to force his way in that door.
Okay, so the guy...
He just says no, the guy's just recording camera.
Do you believe that was a false call?
But he can't go and try to force his way into the door. He didn't, motherfucker. They're recording. Why would they?
I do. Again, it was just our CBS photographer filming the exterior of the building.
In your mind, bogus. Yes. It's disturbing. It's ridiculous.
The Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says this is just one of several questionable 911 calls his police department has received from ICE at this facility recently. Listen, as responding officers...
I wonder why they would be making these false reports. Who does that help? The people? ICE? The citizens? The police force? No, it helps the administration.
Also, question the validity of the 911 call.
I'm sure it doesn't look like anybody's forcing anything in any fence over here.
The deployment of tear gas, pepper spray, mace, and rubber bullets by ICE near the processing center in the village of Broadview is creating a dangerous situation for the community.
This same detention center has become the site of at least 3 other incidents involving federal agents who are accused of hitting people with cars, shooting projectiles, and using chemical agents on journalists, including a CBS reporter last Sunday.
I immediately felt it burning. I started throwing up, was able to drive a little bit, and then I had to park.
Sal Rezai, our reporter, driving her car with the window open and to be struck like that? What do you feel about that? It's horrific.
He's demanding ICE turn over the names of all federal officers
driving her car with the window down. She gets hit.
Involved in each incident and says he's ready to take ICE to court.
Are we going to look at maybe reaching out to Cook County State's Office of subpoenas?
As easy as that. The chief also says he's now reviewing all 911 calls made from the facility.
It's actually a violation of law. It would be classified under disorderly conduct found in a false official report.
The Broadview Police Chief says the Department of Homeland Security tells him they will cooperate with his criminal...
How fucked up is that, dude?
For telling their stories and for being able and willing to go to the streets and to cover what's happening here in America. Many times the legacy media has looked the other way, refused to tell the stories. The networks have not really focused on what this is and what damage it is doing to our country and how...
But it doesn't matter their supporters, right? Because their supporters... No one is telling the truth except for Trump and the people Trump says is telling the truth, right? Even if Trump originally said this person tells the truth, he can retract that instantly as soon as he said that person's lying. So it doesn't matter to them what the news shows, what independent journalist shows, what independent media shows, what YouTubers show, what streamers show. It doesn't matter. Trump can speak words and change what is true in their minds.
This network of Antifa is just as sophisticated as MS-13, as TDA.
Fucking RFK Jr. came out and said that if you were circumcised, you're twice as likely to have autism because you took Tylenol as a baby.
As ISIS, as Hezbollah, as Hamas, as all of them. They are just as dangerous. They have an agenda to destroy us, just like the other terrorists we've dealt with for many, many years. And today is the day that we have a president that won't tolerate it and will stand up and fight for the American people. So thank you for being here, for being so bold, and for standing in the gap at such a time as this. It will matter. It will make a difference, and your life will be one of significance because of what you've done today. So with that, God bless you, and thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Cash, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the American people gave you a sweeping mandate in your victory in this election cycle, and they demanded safety and security for our citizens. And your administration, with your leadership, has provided us with the resources that we need, which is a whole of government approach to go after criminals absolutely everywhere, not just outside.
More people. They keep saying this mandate thing because he won the popular vote in the Electoral College. More people didn't vote than voted for Trump. Same thing. I mean, I'm not saying Kamala did better. More people didn't vote than voted for either fucking. This is not a, you got a mandate to do this.
This country, but within this country, and that takes a whole of government approach. The interagency seated up here.
Eligible voters. More eligible voters did not vote than voted for Trump or Kamala.
Department of Homeland Security, our Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, and your White House staffers, including Stephen Miller's leadership, has allowed us to go out there and map out these networks.
I think it's like 89 million didn't even vote.
What you're doing at the FBI is simple. It does not require rocket science. We are following the money. Money never lies. And that's what it's going to take to bring down this network of organized criminal thugs.
They did not give my kid anything for circumcision. I guess they did some numbing or whatever, but they gave him a sucker afterwards, and they forgot about it almost instantly.
Bangers, and yes, domestic terrorists, because that's what they are. They are harming everyday citizens in every single one of our communities. And the folks you see here on the right and left, they're some of the bravest men and women we have today. They're reporting the stories live time because the mainstream media won't cover it. They're putting their lives on the line. They're standing up for the flag. The least we can do is stand up for them. So you have my thanks. I read more of your stories than I do theirs because you guys are putting out the truth. And we deserve a country where you are protected as equally as they are.
That's the problem. That's the problem. You read and believe social media influencers more than you do the news agencies.
We in this FBI will go after the criminals with a vengeance. We will not rest until we find every single seed, money, donor, organization, and funding mechanism that we have. And I want to echo the Secretary's comments on Scott Bessent, who's allowing us to map out these networks through their financial criminal activities, which has been going on for decades. And I would like to remind the American public, they built this disease temple of corruption over decades. And in 8 short months, Mr. President, you have crippled their foundation because of your leadership here, because of the interagency, because of people like Deputy Attorney General Blanche, because of Attorney General Pam Bondi's fearless leadership to go after criminals wherever they are. They will not be able to hide. They were able to hide and conspire with prior administrations, and we are exposing their corruption from within. And we will go to every single city in this country under Operation Summer Heat and the other operations we are doing at the FBI to bring these criminals to justice. We will arrest every single one of them from whatever perch you sit in, private or public, no matter how your goal or your ambition is. It will be crushed by the Constitution because the American people deserve law and order, and that's what we're going to give you.
Thank you very much, Cash. Great job. Maybe we'll start over here. Would any of you like to say something? Feel free. You can say it in front of a fine group of people, also journalists and reporters. You want to start?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. President Trump, members of the cabinet, really appreciate you guys bringing this together. And the fact that we are here today and on such short notice shows how serious you guys are taking this issue of trans terrorists and frankly, the cities and police departments.
Trans terrorists
that are cooperating with Antifa, such as Portland. I mean, the Portland politicians are literally willing to sacrifice their own citizens just to appease these Antifa terrorists. It's sickening. I've seen it firsthand, obviously. When I went to jail that night, never expected it to happen. I thought that they were maybe removing me for my own safety. It never crossed my mind that I was the one that was being arrested for a crime after
I could understand him coming out and saying, I have a mandate to change everything if he got like fucking 80-90% of the vote.
Was just thrown into a hole. I heard from the Department of Homeland Security after I got out of jail, and one of your, I won't say exactly who it was, but somebody very close to Secretary Noem over here, said that they were legitimately worried for my safety in the Portland jail. But luckily the Portland jail was, I was the only one there, essentially, because they don't actually arrest people in Portland, besides conservative journalists, I guess. So, look, I'm glad that it was not a good night for me, let's just say that. It was not fun sitting in that jail, but I'm glad to see what has come of it. And I've been able to talk to a bunch of FBI agents, ATF agents, DHS agents that I didn't even know existed until I went there and went to that ICE facility. And the morale is at an all-time high. It is so exciting to see these guys know now that they have the backing of the Secretary, the DOJ, as well as the President of the United States, and they are there to do their job.
He's not a conservative journalist, right?
They are going to fulfill this mission and deport these violent criminals. I believe one of the ones I did ride along with Secretary Noem yesterday, President Trump, and there was a pedophile that had come into the country 5 times over the past 7 years. 7 years, and apparently under the Biden regime that was just allowed to happen. That was fine, no problem. It's concerning to me that you're seeing the Portland Police Department, as well as the governor of Oregon and the mayor, of course, coming out and running defense for pedophiles that have entered the country illegally 5 times. It's crazy. I'm glad it's taking a front row seat in the media, and they're being forced to talk about it in reality because we're the ones that were on the ground. We're the ones that are actually reporting what's going on, and much of the legacy media has been either ignoring it or covering covering for Antifa for years now. So thank you guys so much for taking this seriously. And President Trump, you mentioned that flag. So remember, you put out a truth right after I took this flag from that man that was burning it in the street.
Do you know who he is?
Oh yeah, I know exactly who it is.
So why don't you give it to Pam? Give it to the Attorney General, and let's start prosecutions.
Yeah. I actually have a second flag that I tried to burn as well. So I have two of them.
Well, you also saw what happened when that flag started burning. Everyone went crazy, and that's when it started. When they started burning the flag. So thank you. If you could give the information, it would be great.
Absolutely.
And at least that horrible night made you famous.
I got a text from the President of the United States. So I appreciate that.
And President Trump, after that happened to Nick, I called Harmeet Dillon and we opened a pattern and practice investigation into the Portland police very publicly as to how they let this happen.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, Brandy Cruz, you're going to hear us be very fired up today, and you can tell, and it's because some of us have been covering Antifa for 15 years and have never had anyone in a position of authority even acknowledge their existence. And I'll also tell you that I think that had you not done the single most powerful thing you've done to deal with this scourge has been acknowledging that Antifa is a real thing. I genuinely believe there would be people at these tables who would be dead today and would have been killed in Portland had you not called them a terror organization and sent the federal government to bear. I talked to Katie Davisford in Portland the other day. She'd been assaulted all summer, and she said the same thing. It didn't seem quick to violence as soon as you made that designation. So they're thinking in their heads. They're worried. There's been 24 or so arrested in Portland. They don't want to go to federal prison. There's this video of them, one of them who was in the face of an ICE agent, and then he's in custody shaking. Once you take the mask off, they're nothing. And I was told by probably a dozen people not to tell you this. I'm going to tell it to you anyway because it's relevant to what we're talking about. I'm living proof that you can recover from TDS. I had strong Trump derangement syndrome for probably 8 years. This is one of the reasons I recovered from it. And by the way, it's much better to not have TDS. I'm happier, I'm healthier, more successful. I even think I got a little more attractive after my Trump derangement syndrome. Yes. I'm a reporter in Seattle, and frankly, I could not care any less what any of you have to say about this meeting. Could not care any less. We're not here for you. I'm not here to convince any of you that Antifa is a real thing, because if you have not come to that conclusion by now, you are never going to come to that conclusion because you don't want to see it. And you're going to go and you're going to say it's a bunch of right-wing conservative influencers who are here spinning a tale. I was one of you. I was a mainstream reporter in Seattle for 10 years. I was a TV reporter on the streets doing my job, and I was still assaulted by Antifa. So it's not about being conservative. It's about people who go there and show what they're doing. And when I saw after all those years that the media,
the left left me.
Democratic politicians wouldn't be honest about what was happening, I thought, well, gosh, if they're not being honest about that, maybe they're not being honest about President Trump either. And it opened my mind to just looking at things for what they were. And now I find you quite funny, actually. No, I guess I'm much happier about it. But for me, again, I could not care any less the stories that they go to print. This is what I care about. We have 3.5 years. Nothing is guaranteed. Although I think if Democrats keep it up, we'll probably have Republican presidents for the next 3 decades. But nothing is guaranteed. And so what I want to see over the next 3.5 years is a full court press to dismantle Antifa once and for all in a meaningful way. I know, Andy, we talked before this about some ideas. That's really what we want. I don't care what the media says. I don't care what Democrats say. They will never wake up to this fact. So we want the federal government to take as many of these cases as possible. Look at the interstate travel between Portland and Seattle when it comes to these people who are committing violent acts. And hopefully in 3.5 years, they will.
Let's see. If somebody fact check this, let's see.
Today, President Trump convened a roundtable on Antifa, a term meaning anti-fascist. This happened at the White House. He was surrounded by cabinet members as well as a handful of right-wing influencers, and that group described Antifa as an organized terrorist group.
Fox 12's Ezra Kaplan was watching along. He joins us now to fact-check some of the statements that were shared at the White House.
As the Trump administration continues its efforts to deploy troops to democratically led cities like Portland, the president described some of the scenes that seemed quite different from what our reporters have witnessed around Portland. Take a listen to what the president had to say.
Yeah, the amazing thing is you look at Portland and you see fires all over the place. You see fights and, I mean, just violence. It's just so crazy. And then you talk to the governor and she acts like everything is totally normal. There's nothing wrong. It's almost like, are you waking up from a dream or something? You see it on your network. You see it all over the place. And it's so bad. It's so crazy. It's like the movies you see for the kids. I guess not only the kids, adults also, where you have these bombed out cities and these bombed out people.
While we have seen protesters burning American flags and other small items, there have been no fires of note near the ICE building at all. And our reporters have not seen anything around the city that could be fairly described as bombed out. Now, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem also...
Bombed out by what? Bombed out by what? You think they have fucking warheads and shit?
The roundtable. She had just returned from a visit to ICE facilities here in Portland and told the president this.
I was in Portland yesterday and had the chance to visit with the governor of Oregon and also the mayor. They're in town and they are absolutely covering up the terrorism that is hitting their streets. While you talked about some of the stories of our ICE agents, our Border Patrol agents, how they have been attacked, how they have been shot at, injured, the damage that they've done, these leaders in these local cities, along with Pritzker and Johnson, ignore what's going on, or sir, they're helping Antifa cover it up.
The term Antifa is generally considered an ideological concept, not a centralized group. Even so, we asked the mayor and governor if they were in fact helping Antifa to cover up terrorism. Mayor Wilson pointed to his previous statement on the matter, saying, what Kristi Noem saw today in Portland matches our reports. Portland continues to manage public safety professionally and responsibly, irrespective of the claims of out-of-state social media influencers. We also reached out to the governor's office, but have not yet heard back. Now, during the meeting, President Trump called on Attorney General Pam Bondi to quote...
Honestly, when Trump said he was sending the National Guard there, it drew out more people, and still we're looking at a couple dozen people, like 30 people or less.
Start the prosecutions in response to a story from conservative influencer Nick Sorter about protesters burning an American flag. You may recall that he was arrested outside of the ICE facility during a protest, but he was let go without any charges filed.
President Trump, you mentioned that flag. So remember, you put out a truth right after
That's right. I saw that.
took this flag from that man that was burning it in the street.
Do you know who he is?
Oh yeah, I know exactly who it is.
So why don't you give it to Pam? Give it to the Attorney General, and let's start prosecutions.
But the Supreme Court has ruled decisively that, as objectionable as it may be, the burning of an American flag is a form of constitutionally protected free speech. Reporting in studio, Ezra Kaplan, Fox 12 Oregon.
Like, fucking insane, dude. I don't even want to watch it anymore. Like, I just hate that people are just going to fucking believe it because Trump said it. That's where we're at. This is where we're at, actually. A day in the life of a social media maggot. I think she's got a couple videos.
Oh, look, a Charlie Kirk quote. Wait a minute, that seems wrong.
Fuck you, you motherfucker. I'm gonna kill your whole family. We want Christian values up in here. And this is wrong because it hurts my feelings.
Hold on, let's see if she's got more. She does impressions of MAGA on social media.
What are we trying to hang on to, babe? Equal rights, compassion, our Imagine my surprise this morning when someone who actively tries to destroy our democracy, incite violence, and start a civil war did not win a Nobel Peace Prize.
What are you winning, babe? More tax breaks for billionaires?
You know, I'm so bored of this comment. Why do you guys run around saying the same tired ass? You poor little.
Hold on, I got a Ku Klux. As you have seen, they've been blamed.
It's not ancient history. It's American
That's true.
Christianity.
This must be.
I know she's got more. I just don't know where they're at. Hold on.
If you evolved.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That is. We're in.
No argument there. Let's just say it takes a certain level of intelligence to be entertained by things going in circles. Are there any laws that the silly little guy?
I gotta be real with you guys.
Where the fuck are the rest of the videos? Oh, there's the one I just watched. I know she's done multiple ones, and the other one's pretty funny too.
And see, fact.
I hate that things are so. You know, I really wish all these.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that is rough. Lord Limmer is rough. Damn it, the other one's so fucking funny too. I figured it would be with. Did I miss it? I figured she had like 10 of them, but I know she's at least got a couple of them.
And no one is going to change. I am a proud, ignorant woman, and no one is going to change that. I am a.
I see she's responding to the comments from it. You think she had to take it down? It wasn't pinned, was it? They might have gotten taken down. I know they like to mass report. I see her responding to comments from them. Oh well. They were pretty good.
Oh, look, a Charlie Kirk quote. Wait a minute, that seems wrong.
Fuck you, you motherfucker. I'm gonna kill your whole family. We want Christian values up in here. And this is wrong because it hurts my feelings.
Makes me laugh. This is wrong because it hurts my feelings. What else we got? Oh, the pastor that got pepperballed.
Is not true. I want to show another moment, Reverend. You're saying that what they are alleging there is not true. I want to show.
Remember we watched this guy get shot in the head with a pepper ball?
Another moment, Reverend, where a large group of ICE agents are walking towards you. So here they are. They're walking towards you. They're shoving you. I just want everyone to get a chance, and now they can see you. They know who you are. There.
Did you see it? They pepper sprayed him right, fucking point blank, right in his fucking eyes. Now he's dressed as a pastor. He's got his collar. He's got everything. They know he's a pastor. This is after they shot him in the head with a pepper ball.
They are.
Point blank. They shove him. And then this other guy comes up from right here. You can see the blue canister and sprays him point blank. I'll zoom in. Point blank with pepper spray. All right, see the pastor right here? See this blue canister coming? Here we go.
Shoving you. I just want everyone to get a chance, and now they can see you. They know who you are there.
Point fucking blank.
You're obviously you've got your clerical collar on. They are spraying what appears to be pepper spray at that time directly into your face. This, I've been, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe is after you had been hit with the pepper balls in the head. Do you know why they did this to you?
No, there was no warning for any of these things. After they shot me in my head and my face and multiple times in my torso, arms, and legs, I was shielded by the bodies of others who were there, who rushed in to support me and took many more hits that were intended for me. I was then guided away to...
Are you saying that leftist liberals who hate religion and want to re-crucify Jesus or what the fuck and burn everything down saved you?
Place where street medics helped to wash out my eyes and try to keep me safe, but I was completely disabled at that point. And within 2 minutes, quite a number of ICE officers, maybe 15, maybe 20, rushed out of the gate and began to shove us down. And I was already disabled on the ground, but attempted to get away. And they continued to shove us in a kettling maneuver towards a place where we would not be able to escape as they brandished their weapons. And you can see in that video, ICE officers shoving protesters who were standing and speaking and chanting and singing peacefully and praying peacefully, shoving us down and then dispensing a huge amount of chemical weapons onto us. I was drenched from the crown of my head to the socks in my shoes. It was indiscriminate and it was vicious.
I know you said that they were laughing. There were some of the agents laughing after this happened. Can you tell me more about that, what they did, and at that moment, what you thought?
Yeah, we could hear them laughing as they were shooting us from the roof, and it was deeply disturbing.
Yeah, you can sue. It's a difficult legal process, but you can sue.
To witness a few things about these ICE agents operating in Broadview, and
it'd be excessive force, violation of Fourth Amendment rights, probably.
Really what it has shown us is how disorganized they are and how poorly supervised and trained they are. We've also heard ICE agents talking to each other, one of whom said, man, I don't even remember why I'm here anymore. And the other said, I don't know either. So there's a deep demoralization that we are seeing as we're bringing this peaceful and spiritual protest against their tactics and what they are doing to our city and our communities and our neighbors. And I'm grateful to show up with these protesters, people who deeply believe in democracy and are bringing peaceful and moral witness against what the Trump administration is trying to do in Chicago.
Now I want you to listen closely on this next clip. We're moving on from Antifa. We're going to go for RFK for a minute. I want you to listen closely to what RFK says here. It'll probably be muted. I'll have to unmute it and start it over. Hold on.
The highest level of autism. Some studies that show the countries that use the highest level of autism. Cuba has the lowest level in the world of acetaminophen use, and it has the lowest autism rate in the world. So this is not dispositive. It is not proof. We're doing the studies to make the proof. countries that use the highest level of autism. Cuba has the lowest level in the world of acetaminophen use, and it has the lowest autism rate in the world. So this is not dispositive. It is not proof. We're doing the studies to make the proof.
It is not. This is not proof. We're doing the studies to make the proof. But you already had the announcement.
And it has the lowest autism rate in the world. So this is not dispositive. It is not proof. We're doing the studies to make the proof.
We're doing the studies to make the proof. Not we're doing the studies to find out what's going on. Not we're doing studies to get to the bottom of this. We're doing the studies to make the proof.
Rate in the world. So this is not dispositive. It is not proof. We're doing the studies to make the proof.
Oh, this guy still hasn't answered my comment either. So I want you to listen to his video. Here's my comment. I said, yeah, like people having abortions, gay marriage, immigration here, transitioning to their preferred gender, or kids being able to live their lives in schools without gun violence. Darn those libs for taking it away from everybody because they don't like it. He responded, in those cases, you are pushing that bullshit on us, which is the same as not allowing us to do what we want. Thank you for expanding my point. And I said, tell me the last time someone pushed for you to have an abortion. I'll wait. Good luck with your pregnancy, by the way.
Good evening, TikTok. Well, it's been a long day. Got a lot done today. It was a good day. You libs always constantly entertain me with your asinine thoughts, but
I don't think they understand that the liberal stands for individual liberty.
It's fun. I enjoy it. The one thing that I have come to realize in all of this is most conservatives just want to live and let live.
Do they? Is that why they protest at abortion clinics or try to push their faith on you, or they don't want kids to live in schools, obviously, because that's where they die?
I don't give a shit what you do, what you say. It don't matter to me. But all you liberals, if you don't like it, you don't.
Now, when I brought up when I brought up multiple examples of the right wing trying to force other people to fit inside their box, he said, oh, you're just making my point for me. That's when you push it down my throat. Forcing me to do stuff I don't want. Sir, when's the last time someone forced you to have an abortion?
But all you liberals, if you don't like it, you don't want anybody else to do it. It may not affect you one fucking iota, but you want nobody else to do it.
I can't even think of a good example for this. I can't even think of a good example for this to like steel man his argument. What is something that liberals don't want other people, other individuals, private citizens doing? Like if we had to steel man his argument, what?
That's pathetic. God bless. Have a great day.
So again, I asked him, yeah, like having abortions, gay marriage, immigration here, transitioning to their preferred gender, or kids being able to live in their schools without gun violence. Darn those libs for taking it away from everyone because they don't like it. And he says, in those cases, you are pushing that bullshit on us, which is the same as not allowing us to do what we want. I don't understand people. I couldn't steel man it if I wanted to. Like I can't think of a single fucking example for it. While we're on the RFK topic.
So let's explore whether circumcision is right for your son with the big circumcision. Pro, a circumcision means less penis. Let's face it, penis is not exactly the belle of the balls. Removing a little bit of penis from your son's penis means less overall penis, also known as lop. Pro, your son will have something to talk about at parties. Pro, it's the only opportunity you'll have to legally remove a piece of your child's anatomy. Con, circumcisions are weird. Let's say no one had ever heard of circumcisions, and then someone came up to you and was like, hey, you know what you should do to your newborn son? Cut off the foreskin of his penis. What you would say to that is, no. Now let's talk pros and cons for not getting a circumcision. Pro, your son won't get part of his penis sliced off. Pro, if you don't circumcise your son, you won't have to spend money on a hat to keep his penis warm in the winter, also known as a peenie beanie. Though if you do opt to chop, we at ABC Parenting do sell peenie beanies. Con, you won't get any cool bris gifts. Con, if you're circumcised but your son isn't, then his penis will not look like your penis. And like my dad always said, sons' penises should look like their dad's penises. Why? I guess I don't know.
It was pretty good. ABC Parenting.
I would say don't take Tylenol if you're pregnant, and when when the baby is born, don't give it Tylenol. If you can avoid it at all, just don't give it Tylenol.
I'll say this.
Really, what do you have to lose? You really don't have much to lose. Yeah, go ahead.
There's also there's many other confirmation studies. There's 2 studies that show children who are circumcised early have double the rate of autism, and it's highly likely because they're given Tylenol.
They don't give Tylenol for circumcisions.
That show children who are circumcised early have double
As far as I know.
the rate of autism, and it's highly likely because they're given Tylenol. So, none of this is dispositive, but all of it is stuff that we should be paying attention to.
You're talking about...
Here you go. People who regularly buy gas at a gas station are more likely to be in car accidents. So clearly, buying a product from a gas station causes car accidents.
About the Pennsylvania Dutch, you were talking about the Amish, where they don't take any of this stuff, and they have virtually none, right? They have no autism.
Wrong.
No autism.
Wrong again.
They don't take Tylenol.
Everybody cringes.
And when the baby is born, don't give it Tylenol. If you can avoid it at all, just don't give it Tylenol.
I'll say this.
Really, what do you have to lose? You really don't have much to lose. Yeah.
And the title of the show, I got to cover it before we go, even though it's after 1. They are giving. If you had to think about the average person in Idaho, just the average person in Idaho, and you had to think of the thing that they least wanted in their state, would it be brown Muslim people flying F-16s over their head? Or could you think of anything worse? Because that's what they're getting. That's what they're getting. Qatar is going to be the only fucking country to have a physical military base in the United States. And it's going to be in Idaho. And MAGA's losing their fucking mind about it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Frederick Pogue here. So apparently, Pete Hegseth...
You're telling me the people who literally financed 9/11 are not only going to be flying over our heads, but they've got their own fucking base? Now, it's not going to be an independent base. It's going to be a joint base, but still. First country ever to have a U.S. base.
okayed, which basically means coming from Donald Trump, to give the Qatari government a military base in Idaho to, I guess, house their fighter jets. So I'm not going to do a deep dive on, well, we technically had this foreign country had a base here and our allies had this and yada, yada, yada. It's like...
We always do joint training. We bring them here. they're under our control at our bases, under our command, and they train here. No one's had an issue with that for forever, as far back as you can remember, right? They come here, they train, they whatever, we sell them jets, and they're like, the jets the shit we sell them are like tuned down versions of our shit, so we can still fuck them up if we had to. But this is specifically billed as their own base. The first country to ever have their own base on U.S. soil.
No. To my knowledge, we've never, ever had a foreign power have a military base on American soil. There's already issues with the Chinese government buying up farmland around our military bases right now, which leads to all kinds of OPSEC or operational security issues.
This is something that we generally even talk about. The U.S. may not be a good tactic. Everywhere we go now, or everywhere we've been for 100 years, we put a military base there and occupy and put soldiers there in place. This is our area. We fucking came here for a war. Now this is our base and we're going to control it, right? Now it's in the U.S.
That should be outlawed, but we don't. So now I guess we're just outright letting.
The title of this is America Betrayed. I picked him because he looked like a MAGA guy. I don't know. That's why I didn't particularly pick like CNN or some shit covering it. I know his reporting's probably not going to be super accurate, but I want to see how he feels about it.
Foreign powers have military bases in the continent of the United States. What's next? We're going to let the Russians have a military base in Alaska? Why not, right? I mean, the Russian Empire, under old Vladimir, they still, in their propaganda, consider it theirs, that it's part of Russia.
Why? Because they're investing a lot of money in his son's cryptocurrency, and they gave him Air Force One, and they're going to give him money, and he likes wealthy people. That's why.
I mean, Trump went to the trouble of meeting with Vladimir in what they consider their sovereign territory, and rolling out the red carpet and having our military personnel do it. And so now we're just doing military bases for foreign powers in Idaho. There's a reason that we have bases all over the world. Now, whether you agree with American imperialism or not, I don't, but there's a reason there is a base in Germany. It's from
It's going to be, I don't know if anybody is familiar with Idaho, but there is an air base there. I think it's, what's it called? Mountain Home Air Force Base, I think. It's going to be joint to that. They're building it. They're paying for it. But basically, we're giving them sovereign soil to put their military base there.
It's there in case the Soviets or the Russians come across and NATO has to ramp up. Article 5's invoked. That's why we're there. There's a reason.
The problem is, why wouldn't we just continue? Like, there isn't a good argument for this. Well, they need training. Okay. We do training with partner countries all the fucking time. No one would have batted an eye if you just said we're bringing, 60 fucking pilots to learn the new F-15 or F-16 or whatever. That happens daily.
We're still in Japan, again, from World War II, but also China.
They're going to try to spin it as, well, they're paying to build this base. That's construction jobs. So are we saying that we're going to fucking let China build a White House in Oregon and be like, they're constructing it? Like, what the fuck?
If they ever decide to attack Taiwan, which I guess Trump is probably okay with them doing now. There's a reason we're still in South Korea, because, again, it's a beachhead in case we ever have to invade China. Why does the Qatari government need...
Singapore has a training wing. We did not give them a base. We let them build hangars and a office, basically like a classroom training thing there. They build it. It's still U.S. sovereign soil. It's still a U.S. base. It isn't Singapore's base, right? But for some reason with Qatar, we're doing a different deal.
A military base in Idaho. Do they potentially want to launch an attack into Canada? Is that what this is about? Or is it just a grift to get money from the Qatari government for whatever?
Well, it's so they invest in what is it, World Liberty Financial? Is that what it's called? That his son and son-in-law own the cryptocurrency and they're putting billions of dollars in it?
Jared Kushner already got $2 billion from the Saudis. We're going to give this to the Saudis too? Is that next? Where are they going to have military bases in New Mexico?
They're trying to downplay it. Like, well, we always train with foreign leaders and they're here and sometimes they have their own barracks. This is something different.
We make America great, MAGA. When do we put America first, MAGA? I really need to understand this. I mean, it's your people, Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth, with all this Nazi-style propaganda about rebuild the homeland, defend the homeland, and yet we're going to give a military base to a foreign power to put fighter jets on our soil? That's rebuilding the homeland? That's putting America first? That's making us great again? Or is it sending National Guard into cities and attacking American citizens and legal immigrants? Not a criminal in sight. Launching pepper balls against peacefully protesting citizens, exercising their First Amendment rights, priests, mothers, fathers, ripping children away from their families, from their parents in the middle of the night. When do we become great again, MAGA? Is it going to be when Trump gives Alaska to Vladimir Putin as a gift? I'm just wondering at this point, because if you'd told me, or any of us, that...
I'm just telling you the way it was announced. Since then, after all the backlash, Hegseth made an announcement saying, oh, no. It'll still be it won't be their own base. It's a U.S. base. Well, then why did you announce it like this? Then why the fuck did you announce it like this? MAGA backlash.
Quote, betrayed fierce backlash tonight from the MAGA base after this surprising announcement with great fanfare.
And they know how social media works. It doesn't matter how many fucking corrections they'll do.
Air Force.
It's going to stay the same. Right? I'll let you hear Hegseth. I'll back up. But it doesn't matter how many corrections they do and say, oh, no, it's a U.S. base. It's this, it's that. We're in control, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. It's already spread everywhere.
Betrayed fierce backlash tonight from the MAGA base after this surprising announcement with great fanfare from the Trump administration.
I'm also proud that today we're signing a letter of acceptance to build a Qatari Emiri Air Force facility at the Mountain Home Air Base in Idaho. The location will be host a contingent of Qatari F-15s and pilots to enhance our combined training, increase lethality, interoperability.
He's sitting next to a member of the Qatari royal family there, just to be clear. It's an announcement that caught everyone off guard. The administration greenlighting a plan for Qatar to build an Air Force facility in Idaho. And Trump's base is livid about it. Far-right activist Laura Loomer, who has Trump's ear, highly influential in MAGA world, lashing out. One of her posts, she says, what the hell is going on? Why are we trying to train more Muslims how to fly planes on U.S. soil? Didn't we already learn our lesson? Why are we encouraging more Islamic infiltration of our country by the founders of Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood? This is very bad for our national security. And by the way,
they definitely fund terrorism. We look the other way with them because money.
Has fired off about 40 more posts on X, slamming the decision. 40 posts on this today. Watch them populate the screen. They're mad. At one point, writing, this is where I draw the line. I'm not voting.
These are all Laura Loomer posts. Over 40 posts about it.
In 2026. And then Steve Bannon came out and told Newsweek there should never be a military base of a foreign power on the sacred soil of America. Now, to clarify, Qatar is building a facility to house a squadron of F-15 pilots and teams. I mean, that's a lot of Qatari military personnel on an existing U.S. base. And maybe there are serious security concerns with that. But there are concerns. There are when it comes to corruption. For one, this is the same country that gifted Trump the luxury jet. Remember, the jet, reported price tag on it was $400 million. The jet that Trump wants to use is Air Force One, right? That was Qatar. And by the way, when it comes to money, because it always does, Trump's family and the Qataris are business partners now. Eric Trump recently unveiled plans for a new golf course and a beachside resort in Qatar. And Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has raised billions of dollars from several Middle Eastern countries, including Qatar. Qatar is also central to the Trump's Middle East crypto strategy, which is now the bulk of his net worth, helped make his children billionaires. Most recently, Qatar also made sure to stay in Trump's good graces by rolling out the red carpet for the president during his visit as president. Fighter jets escorted Air Force One into the airspace of Qatar.
It'll be between 18 to like 20 fucking fighter jets, somewhere around there, maybe 22, 24, and it'll be probably 180 to 220 people for a F-16 squadron.
The spectacle had Cybertrucks, horses, and camels. A welcome for a royal. But on top of all of that, there is this. Trump just signed an executive order defending Qatar's security, giving NATO-level security guarantees to Qatar, which, by the way...
Given NATO-level security guarantees to Qatar. They're not a member of NATO.
Just to be clear about what that could mean, I mean, it should be obvious, but I guess I should also note that Qatar has been hit with missiles from Iran and Israel, both.
So basically... an attack, the NATO level security guarantees are an attack against one is an attack against all. You can't go attack another country, but if someone attacks you, we're all fucking coming, no questions asked. If you invoke Article 5, we're all coming to defend you. We won't go and help you pursue them. We won't cross their border. We won't attack them, but we will defend you. And he gave those guarantees to Qatar randomly.
In the past 3 months. It's an incredible series of events. I mean, by the way, in any case, it's an incredible series of events to lay all that out. I can't even believe I'm saying it, and this is real, but it is. But then there's also this, what Trump actually said in the past on the record about the Qataris before they showered him with gifts and money.
The nation of Qatar, unfortunately, has historically been a funder of terrorism at a very high level.
And that right there is a big part of why MAGA is breaking with Trump over this Qatari Air Force facility in the state of Idaho. But by the way, this is not the only crack splitting the MAGA world. This was today, but Joe Rogan has spoken out, tearing into Trump's immigration policy.
Let's just talk about the immigration thing. The way it looks is horrific. It looks.
Why is Joe Rogan dressed as a priest?
When you're just arresting people in front of their kids and just normal, regular people that have been here for 20 years, that everybody who has a heart can't get along with that.
No. Not even people that have been here, normal, regular people that have been here for 20 years. U.S. citizens asleep at 3 a.m. in their apartment building, and they rappel in from fucking Blackhawks and kick down their goddamn door and drag them and their children out in their fucking underwear to the streets. It's one thing if, like, I lived in an apartment building and there's an operation going on, they did the research and they get my neighbor 3 doors down. I'm like, fuck, you know, he was here legally, you know, he missed his court date. What? It's another thing they drag me out of my fucking house with my kids, a U.S. citizen, and handcuff me on the street for hours and say, well, we had to get everybody out so we could find the illegal aliens.
Everybody who has a heart sees that and goes, that can't be right. That can't be right. That can't be the only way to do this.
Tucker Carlson going after the administration for using Charlie Kirk's assassination to try to silence critics.
Because they can tell you what to say. They're telling you what to think. There is nothing they can't do to you because they don't consider you human. They don't believe you have a soul.
And when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, Marjorie Taylor Greene slamming a statement by the White House that labeled any support for the release of the Epstein files as a, quote, hostile act.
The hostile act has been against these women for so many years now. The hostile act is covering up for Jeffrey Epstein and everyone else that's been involved in this. And that's the real hostile act.
Kristen Holmes is out front live outside the White House. And, you know, Kristen, obviously we're putting in the context of so many issues where there are fault lines. But tonight, real.
We all knew he'd go too far one way one day, but I didn't think it'd be this.
Anger in MAGA world about this latest announcement. What are you learning?
Yeah, there is real anger about that. I do want to talk about the cracks overall because I actually think what we just learned moments ago, which is not about the Air Force, it's actually about these federal worker layoffs, is going to cause real strain on the relationship between the administration and a lot of Republicans on Capitol Hill, because we've just learned in a court filing that more than 4,000 federal workers were laid off today. Just to give you an idea of what that looks like, it's about 315 workers at the Department of Commerce, 466 workers at the Department of Education, 187 at the Department of Energy. That list goes on and on. A couple things to point out here. There were already reservations among Republicans as to how the shutdown was being handled. We've heard them speak out about it. The fact the House has not been called into session. The fact that these workers' pay was being threatened. We heard President Trump saying some workers didn't deserve to get paid, and at one point saying they were going to look at the law differently, the law he signed in 2019, to say that they wouldn't have to pay those furloughed workers.
In 2019, they signed a law that basically said the government shut down. If they got furloughed workers, they get back pay. And now they're trying to say, no. That's not what we said. What we actually said is this specific shutdown got back pay, guaranteed back pay. But this is a different shutdown. But that's not the way they talked about it. That's not the way they pitched it. That's not the way. They're just trying to nitpick it and see if they can get it through or not, to hopefully put more pressure on Democrats and saying, well, you're the guys that cause them not to get paid, while Trump is trying to go to the court and argue that he shouldn't have to pay them.
Restructuring of the federal workforce. Of course, we know that the president has extended powers during a government shutdown, but it's really unprecedented to use them in this way to restructure the government essentially in your image. Because what we know from Russell Vought, the head of the Office of Management and Budget, and from President Trump is that they want to cut Democratic programs. They want to cut programs that don't align with President Trump. And now we're learning how many people lost their jobs just today. And that was a real point of contention for a lot of Republicans. They didn't like the threats about money. They didn't like the threats of layoffs. And now you're seeing the actual layoffs. And how this impacts the framing of this shutdown is really going to be what's interesting to watch, because it does not seem as though any side is backing down, even though you've got this real uneasy.
About every show, I throw a bottle into the trash can. And then I always tell you if I make it or miss it. I don't know if anybody's keeping up with my record, but it's probably not great right now.
Among Republicans when it comes to this kind of behavior.
Should we do all three of the Rogan ones? And what's the sequencing of these?
We'll just go dumber and dumber and dumber.
Okay.
I love it.
So here's Joe Rogan, and he's had a moment where he said this before too about immigration, but there is such a lack of thinking here. It's fascinating.
No.
This is like this is like
they dress as.
They're dressed like a Star Wars.
It's a priest costume. Whenever Duncan Trestle's on, they dress up.
Oh God, I'm sorry you know that.
Part of the
job. Okay, now we know the costume.
It looks is horrific. It looks when you're just arresting people in front of their kids.
I thought that was a cross, a crucifix.
Normal, regular people that have been here for 20 years. That everybody who has a heart can't get along with that.
No.
Everybody who has a heart sees that and goes, that can't be right.
Don't think
that can't be
so.
right. That can't be the only way to do this. Right. Because you have to think. Look, yeah, we have to have a border. Yes, it should have been secure. Yes, they should make sure you know who everybody is.
All right, pause it just 1 second. I just want to unpack all this level of complete thoughtlessness and stupidity involved in this. Half of the undocumented immigrants, I should say.
Sorry, something's playing in the background. Hold on. Oh, it's fucking hell on wheels.
Half of the unauthorized people in this country who are undocumented immigrants or he perceives as illegal immigrants, they didn't cross the border. They came in with papers and just stayed. Mm-hmm. That's just like one thing. Like, this is not about securing the border invasion. Unless you're like going to put RFID chips in people as they come in with their papers. That's stupid. And he says like,
oh God, oh my God, please, 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 let someone talk Trump into retina scans or palm scans or a fucking chip below the skin. Please, he's so dumb, he won't see it coming. Some tech bro, please talk Trump into RFID chips for voting or fucking proving you're a U.S. citizen, not having to carry your ID around, whatever. Please, somebody talk him into it. By the way, I do want to bring this up, Christians. If any Christians still watch me, I wouldn't. But to be a Christian, I feel like growing up, I grew up in churches. I've got a bunch of uncles that are pastors. I had an uncle that tried to make me into a fucking pastor. I grew up through church. I've studied the Bible extensively. I feel like one of the core tenets of all Christianity, is asking God for forgiveness. Now, if I'm wrong, tell me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there isn't, a pillar, a core principle of asking God for forgiveness. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just making that up. Okay? But I feel like that's a pretty big deal. I feel like you cannot be a Christian, a saved, born-again Christian, without asking God for forgiveness. I feel like I heard that somewhere. I feel like that's one of those things where you basically have to ask God to forgive you, right? I'm a sinner. I believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross for my sins. I'm asking him to forgive me of those sins, and I'm going to do better to live more like Christ. That's why it's Christianity, to live like Christ, to be like Jesus Christ from the Bible. I was born a sinner. I am a sinner. I'm admitting that. Jesus Christ died for my sins, and I need forgiveness for those sins, right? Everybody agree? Everybody fucking agree that you have to be forgiven for your sins to be a Christian, to be a saved, born again, actual Christian, going to heaven, living like Jesus Christ. Everybody should agree with that. So let's see.
Unbelievable. And what he would do is So we've got people lined up for questions. I just got one more, because you used the word Christian. Have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
Name me a Christian that couldn't immediately answer this question. Name me a fucking Christian that couldn't immediately answer this question. Have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
So we've got people lined up for questions. I just got one more, because you used the word Christian. Have you ever asked God for forgiveness? That's a tough question. I don't think.
By the way, that's a tough question, but we're going to go into a story so I don't have to answer it.
In terms of, I'm a religious person. Shockingly, because people are so shocked when they find this out, I'm Protestant, I'm Presbyterian, and I go to church, and I love God, and I love my church. And Norman Vincent Peale, the great Norman Vincent Peale, was my pastor. The power of positive thinking. Everybody's heard of Norman. He would give a sermon, you never wanted to leave. Sometimes we have sermons, and every once in a while we think about leaving a little early, right, even though we're Christian. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Frank, would give a sermon. I'm telling you, I still remember his sermons. It was unbelievable. And what he would do is he'd bring real-life situations, modern-day situations, into the sermon. And you could listen to him all day long. When you left the church, you were disappointed that it was over. He was the greatest guy. And then, he passed away, but he was a great... He wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, which is a great book.
Thank God this interviewer is not going to let him slip away. Just wait until he tries to sidestep the whole question.
What, have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
But that's great. I'm glad you have a pastor you like, a church you like. I'm glad he has good sermons. But have you ever asked God for forgiveness?
Greatest guy. And then, he passed away, but he was a great... He wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, which is a great book. But have you ever asked God for forgiveness? I'm not sure I have. I just go and try and do a better job from there. I don't think so. I think if I do something wrong, I think I just try and make it right. I don't bring God into that picture. I don't. Now, when I take, when we go and...
Even the audience is like, what? No, I haven't. I've never asked God for forgiveness, ever. I don't bring God into the picture. When I do wrong, I just do better.
Church, and when I drink my little wine, which is about the only wine I drink, and have my little cracker, I guess that's a form of asking for forgiveness, and I do that as often as possible because I feel cleansed, okay?
No, I've never asked God for forgiveness. I do communion, and I feel like that takes care of all of it.
But, to me, that's important. I do that.
And these motherfuckers are standing at his rallies saying that Trump is the closest thing to God on earth. This is when he ran the first time. Communion is to remember Jesus' sacrifice and to celebrate their union with him after you've already been forgiven and accepted him and all that. It's to remember the sacrifice that was given. This is worse than when they're like, hey, you talk about the Bible a lot. What's your favorite Bible verse? I don't want to get into it. Yeah, but if you had to pick one, I don't know. But if you had to pick one Bible verse that maybe you just like it or something, just tell us one. I like it all. I like from start to finish every verse. Have you ever asked God for forgiveness? Nah. I do communion sometimes. And then I feel better. But I don't bring God into the forgiveness part of it. I've never done that before.
But in terms of officially, I could say absolutely, and everybody. I don't think in terms of that. I think in terms of let's go on and let's make it right. So let's.
One or two people start clapping and the audience feels like they're supposed to clap. Listen.
I don't think in terms of that. I think in terms of let's go on and let's make it right. So let's.
Somebody's from his campaign started clapping.
Microphone one, please.
It was nothing like the previous fucking clapping, but whatever. What the fuck, dude?
Like they've been here for 20 years. Well, okay, what's the cutoff going to be? Like, what are we going to do with the cutoff? Like, we're going to do it at 20? Like, if you've been here for 19 years, you get to stay. What if you've been here for 10 years? 5 years? 2 years? Like, what if you have family here? Like, everything he's saying is just so dumb and thoughtless.
I watched a guy the other day try to go over, like, regular Republican shit that we understand you're Republican and you have these regular Republican beliefs. Like, you want illegal criminal aliens, like drug dealers and rapists and people that commit crimes here, to be removed from the United States. That's cool. So do I. I'm not a Republican, but so do I. If you come here and you're committing crimes, you got to go. That's different than MAGA shit, where they're like, everybody, no matter what, I don't care if you've been here 20 years and working and you're on your way and you're taking the steps, you've never been in trouble and you're going to your last meeting to get your citizenship, we're throwing that out and dragging you out of here. U.S. citizens, fucking zip tie you too until we figure this shit out. That's crazy MAGA shit. There's a big difference.
And what did you think was going to happen? Like, what do you think was happening before, and what did you think was going to happen after Trump? Like, the idea that the Biden administration was just letting, like, and Obama, they're just letting criminals run around and not going after them. That's absurd. It's absurd. But Obama deported more people than Trump has.
Well, what's the actual problem being solved here? Is it the country's getting too brown, or is it the economy? Like, right? Like, it's never addressed which one it is. And, like, it's clear that what's being done now is because the country's getting too brown.
Yeah. Well, it's mission creep. The whole thing is mission creep. What's striking to me about this is that Rogan sounds like a Democrat. This is what Democrats say constantly. Yes, the border needs to be secure. Of course I believe the border needs to be secure. But the way it's being done is really bad. Well, is the border insecure? No, it's not, actually. Are there criminals in this country? No, there actually are not, to the extent that you think there are, right? And there
are less likely to do crimes.
Like, exactly. What about where are all the drug busts that we're missing out on? How come we don't have that footage of all these,
it's amazing.
Well, they're blowing them up in the ocean. So when they're asked, where's the evidence that these people are drug dealers, Trump says it's floating around the ocean. Sorry.
Just they hide in mom costumes and grandpa costumes. Like, the idea, if we're rounding up Trent Argwa and dangerous criminals, where's the footage? Because they're always with a camera crew. Where's the footage of the shootouts? Yeah. Where's the guns being fired? Where's the knife that was pulled on an ice guy?
Very
like, they all have camera crews. Like, how is it that they've been rounding up all these people and we haven't seen one single incident of anybody fighting back except for a guy in a dinosaur costume using telekinesis to push the ice back?
Frog. Also, can we perfect tren del agua?
No, I'm not doing that.
Al agua. Al agua.
No.
Sí se puede. Sí se puede.
All right, let's hear like him espouse like sort of these hard.
Even Rand Paul is pissed about the Venezuela boat strikes. Like, how do we know who the fuck they were? I think Colombia come out and said, "Hey, we just had regular citizens on there. That one of the boat strikes was ours, and they're not drug dealers, or at least we have no evidence of that."
Concerns because dude, what we're seeing right now is as much a product of your work. Like, if your work has done anything, it has brought us to this point, outside of like, maybe educating people.
Remember when we posted after deliberating very hard, I decided to support Donald Trump?
Yeah.
What was that deliberation like?
You have to think.
Is that bomb?
Yeah, we have to have a border. Yes, it should have been secure. Yes, they should make sure you know who everybody is before they get in.
Yep.
But when people been here for 20 years, like, come on, man, that's crazy. Like, let's find a way. If they
He got a fucking. He went to the doctor today for a checkup and got a COVID vaccine and a flu vaccine. While RFK's running around telling people not to get either.
Productive members of society for 20 years, no criminal record. They worked the entire time. They paid taxes. Find them a pathway to citizenship. Find a way where you can do this thing that you want to do.
It's called amnesty, and they just become a citizen.
Yeah, what's the pathway?
Again,
what do you want them to do? They've been here for 20 years. Listen to what he's saying. They've been here for 20 years. They're working hard. They're raising children. They've never committed a crime.
Pay taxes.
We got to find them a pathway to citizenship.
A yellow brick road.
What would that pathway look like? Okay, this is what it is. You got to figure out a scavenger hunt.
Like Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, first you need to go to a trust camp, and you need to climb the wall with the rope. Like, what's the pathway? The pathway is, you've already made the pathway. That's it.
Congrats.
They're productive members
But
of
also,
society.
these are people, what's so ironic about people like Rogan who hate bureaucracy, they hate big government. Their whole shtick is being anti-establishment.
Amnesty would be so fucking great, and Trump could sell it to his fucking retarded following, and it would fix almost all of these problems. Not like if you just got here, run and jump at the border. They would have to say like, oh, you've already been here this long, haven't committed any crimes, haven't done this, haven't done that, but we're going to get you on citizenship. There's the 6-month program or a year-long program, and by the end of it, you'll be a citizen. And for right now, if you sign up, you're protected from deportations.
Right? Walk a day in the shoes of an immigrant navigating the immigration system in the United States of America. You want to see bureaucracy? These people are the most tracked, the most followed, the most check in with X, Y, and Z office of any American, right? Like of any of us. We could not fathom. Half of us, most of us can't even pass a citizenship test. So like, it's insane to be like, oh, and they're not, because you don't know about the immigration system in this country. You've never talked about it on your show before.
I saw people bitching about Trump taking the COVID shot and the White House talk or the press release or whatever on the COVID and flu vaccine. And they were bitching like, oh, I thought the vaccines, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe there's no way. And they're like, oh, he gets different vaccines. They're not the same as ours. He's taking the med bad in a syringe or whatever.
And I'd like to hear an effing, I'm sorry for misleading my audience about this. I guess I shouldn't have endorsed Donald Trump because it was so clear that this is where it was going.
Worked the entire time. They paid taxes. Find them a pathway to citizenship. Find a way where you can do this thing that you want to do, which is keep terrorists and cartel members from getting across the border. Drugs that kill 100,000 people a year. Okay, but also...
Purdue Pharmacy? Right, did Purdue cross the Rio Grande?
Because if you don't, you're not going to get anybody on your side. If you're doing this stuff publicly, throwing women to the ground, handcuffing people, just for existing on the wrong side of the dirt. Not a criminal. The only crime they ever committed was coming over here as a kid. They probably didn't even know what the fuck was going on. Because, a lot of kids got snuck across when they were already born in Mexico. They've grown up their entire life in America. They can't even speak Spanish. And they could get sent back.
Because their parents are the criminal.
Yeah, it's called DACA. And incidentally, it's not a crime to cross the border.
By the way, that clip is so inflammatory to his fans. If you go on his YouTube channel, they are furious with him.
All of his kids are vaccinated too. I just shook my communion cracker.
They're furious. They're like,
sorry.
I'm so sick of rich people who aren't feeling the implications of unfettered immigration, just telling me I need to have a heart.
Yeah, it's not what you're feeling, idiot.
I mean, we are at supposedly net zero immigration right now. In fact, like border crossing supposedly at an all-time low. Immigrants coming into this country at an all-time low, and joblessness is going up.
But this is the mission creep. This is they are, and Vance did this on the campaign trail, which is, these people are taking your jobs, they're taking your housing. They're the reason you can't have affordable housing is because of immigrants. And they're going to keep on hitting this button unless Democrats actually have a working class agenda for them.
Exactly. And also an actual position on immigration that is like able to be articulated to people. Here is Joe Rogan. We're going to go from dumb to dumber. Here's Joe Rogan, just like how you don't automatically know this as like even the most casual sort of consumer of news is so beyond me.
Especially as Joe Rogan is somebody who's taken phone calls from the Vice President of the United States on this exact topic.
But this is fascinating. This is where Joe Rogan begins to realize that, it's the Democrats who are trying to get the Epstein files released. I kid you not. Incidentally, Mike Johnson not swearing in Grijalva because she represents the 218th vote for a discharge petition, which forces a bill to the floor saying all the Epstein files are released. Here's Joe Rogan. Apparently, in this.
By the way, people think that this vote for the discharge petition automatically makes the files be released. It doesn't. The reason they don't want it on the floor is because right now they're not taking a full vote. Right? They refuse to vote on it. The discharge petition forces it to the floor, and then we can see with our own eyes who votes to release them and who votes against it and who abstained. And they know they're following. If they don't vote to release it, they know their following is going to hear about it. It's going to be all on social media. There's going to be lists of these are the people who voted not to release the Epstein files. Because even if the discharge petition works and they vote to pass it, it's still got to go to the other side of Congress, right? It's still got to go to them. And then it's still got to go to Trump. Then it's still got to be signed into law or vetoed. And then it becomes a law or it comes back to Congress and they'll have to have 2/3 majority to bypass. The discharge petition, the only reason they don't want it to pass, they don't want to swear this person in, is because they're forced. They can't say, I think Americans should see this. Yeah, I think everybody should. I think we should be transparent with it. They'll have to put their name down either to release the Epstein files or hide the Epstein files. One of the two. Or absent, which is the same as voting to hide them. And they don't want their name on a list because there's plenty of people saying, yeah, I think the American people should be able to see it, blah, blah, blah. But they are going to vote no when it comes out. Should we release these unredacted to the American people? And they know that.
This is from October 9th, right? Like, this is contemporary.
Yeah.
This isn't from
October 9th, 2016.
2012 or something.
This is saying that the Democrats want it to come out and the Republicans
all his kids were previously vaccinated.
don't. Party lines. Let's ask Perplexity. Why won't they release the Epstein?
There's Eric Swalwell who's, I guess. I read it wrong. No, okay, so the Democrats were not. The Democrats were pushing this. The Republicans fought against it. Okay, I fucked that up. So, so they voted along party line. So they're probably told to do this.
Right, so what the fuck's in there, man?
So then they've been.
Okay, hold on for a second. I just want to help Perry Mason out here.
Headphones on a potato.
It has been widely reported that the White House was whipping against this vote for weeks. Mike Johnson widely reported that he dismissed Congress for 5 weeks over the summer to avoid this.
Well, that's a disgusting lie. That's insane.
And this is the Epstein files. Like, what is this guy paying attention to? It's okay. It seems to be somebody's telling them not to vote for
No, he immediately does a whataboutism. Oh, okay, so now they only care about Epstein because Trump's in power. This is what the right's been saying. Since the Democrats have voted this way, have made it an issue, it's like, you just care because it's Trump. And it's like, that now he's president. It's like, yeah, but also, there's nothing like a beautiful friend. I can't remember. A beautiful friend is a wonderful secret thing to have. Every day is a new secret. Also because they were best friends. Anyway.
Go back a little bit and play this.
Democrats were pushing this. The Republicans fought against it. Okay, I fucked that up. So 51 to 49 is crazy. So they just voted along party line. So they're probably told to do this.
Right, so what the fuck's in there, man?
So then they've been, not only is the government shut down right now, I think that might affect it some, but they're in recess, Congresses. And so this, Eric Swalwell said this stuff today. But I think it might not be true.
Oh, no, that might not be true. We're getting skeptical, guys.
This week they confided that Trump's movement support is fading. As one told me, this Epstein bomb is about to drop, and no one wants to defend a pedo protector. It's just a matter of time, Swalwell said in a thread. One Republican just texted me that if there's a discharge vote on Epstein, they expect a jailbreak of over 100 members. Trump will go nuts, he added.
So they said, this further goes on to say that if they get back, that this is the first thing on the docket, and that's sort of what's holding them back in recess right here.
Wow.
Wild history in real time.
Dude,
no. It's a wild scene.
Crazy.
Things happen, man. Anyway.
Listeners are mad about his immigration.
Exactly. They're still so
we just watched that video.
Beamed about the fact that he was upset about mothers being slammed to the floor. All right. If you're wondering,
he says if you're circumcised, you're twice as likely to have autism because they give you Tylenol. But I'm pretty sure they don't give you Tylenol. They didn't give either one of my boys Tylenol. They gave them a sucker and some local anesthesia when they first did it. I don't even know if they gave them local anesthesia. They told us they're going to cry, they're going to be upset, and they'll forget about it by the time they're back to the room. And they did. They gave them a lollipop, basically.
What is going on? And again, the most viewed show in the country, at least in the run-up to the election, right? Where, and capturing the imagination of all of media, and the Democrats are like, we've got to find our own Joe Rogan. Here's a little insight into how this guy's brain works or doesn't work. This is a clip of, is this from the Dollop? It's Dave Anthony.
Shout out.
And Gareth Reynolds.
Gareth Reynolds.
Love y'all.
Dave and I used to be friendly, but we got into a fight around the 2016, I think it was, election.
Was it door related?
Yes, it was.
No,
yes,
that's sad.
It is sad. I always liked Dave. I've known him for a very long time. And Dave was a writer on Maron's show.
Oh, shit.
And this is a story of when at one point, and Maron's show was about him as a podcaster. And so, the show would often deal with podcasters and other podcasters and podcasts and whatnot. And here's Dave telling a story of one of the episodes of Maron they were hoping to write.
When I worked on Marin, we were looking for someone to do a guest role, like athletic guy, to try and get Mark in shape. And we were like, what about Rogan? He's like a big athletic guy. So the two showrunners were like, all right, if we go out to a guy like this, it's kind of big. We should be very careful with how it's written. And so they went through all of his old interviews and magazines. They took actual things he had said from the interviews and put it into the script as if like that's his beliefs, right? That's what he thinks. Marin sends Rogan the script, and Rogan calls up Marin, and he's furious. And he's like, what are you doing making me look like such a fucking idiot? Because Joe Rogan doesn't know what the fuck he's saying most of the time and just babbles shit. And so when he sees it written, he's like, man, this guy sounds like a fucking moron. That stuff you said.
Yeah. I love this. I mean, that's the reveal at the end.
Makes sense.
On how a country just completely, like literally got lost. Like we don't know where we are. Mom, I don't know where I am. Like I don't have a map function on my phone. I don't know where I am. You come pick me up. Pick me up. I don't know where I am. I'm so cold. I'm freezing cold. I have no idea where I am. People don't seem to speak English around here.
It's raining. I thought that didn't exist. I didn't know weather was a thing. I thought
his bipolarity is the distance between his testosterone injections is depending on which Rogan you get. The one who cares about immigration is far from his testosterone shots. And the one who is very
3 weeks. He's like starting to do.
Yeah, but some parents giving Tylenol after the procedure has nothing to do with if you're circumcised, you're twice as likely to have autism because it's a thing that they do at the hospital to every kid that's circumcised.
Weepy, and I really feel bad about the immigrant.
Whereas the day after he gets the shot, he's like, why don't you start shooting?
I'll sign up myself.
Exactly. We gotta do this.
So when he's a soy boy, he's got empathy.
Exactly.
I heard someone describe Rogan, I can't remember which comic it was, say that he's someone who's so open-minded, his brain is leaking out of his skull.
That sounds
and that was years ago. But now
that's a real thing.
Yeah, that's a real thing that I just read and now understand.
I think it's 100%.
Oh, there's no brain labs. It's all skull.
The ghost of a brain.
The testosterone actually it carries like the electrical charges. That's the only thing in there.
He's got T-brain.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but for real, I mean, the right is so obsessed with testosterone. They're all on replacement. RFK's on replacement.
They're all globally.
Sam, we were talking off show that if we could disrupt the testosterone replacement supply chain, we would save this country.
Totally.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that's talk about what Antifa should be up to. That's where it's at.
He said there's 2 studies that show children who are circumcised early have double the rate of autism. It's highly likely that because they are given Tylenol at the hospital, Kennedy stated during a cabinet meeting on Thursday.
A little bit of psilocybin, just to replace it. Just a little bit.
Exactly, microdosing. I'm going to do that. I feel like I'm, like 12, 15 years out. I'm going to do it. From TRT, of course. I want to be able to do like 65 push-ups when I'm in my 70s.
In jeans?
Yeah. Who cares? Who cares what I'm wearing?
Yes, the only gender-affirming care they believe in.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.
All right, guys, that's it for me tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. I'll be back tomorrow. My sister's getting married next week, so there'll be a day where I won't be around, maybe a day or 2. So, yeah, shout out to that. I might do some videos from my phone. I've been trying to do my TikTok thing. I am leaning towards maybe doing the AI. I'm thinking about I'm afraid the AI would just tell me to go buy parts, but that's not what I want it to do. I want it to recommend, like, Band-Aid kind of repairs and see if they work. So I'm thinking about setting up the AI and saying like, hey, pretend you're in a scenario where it's like the apocalypse or something, right? We may be able to get parts, but they're very hard to come by, very hard to do this, very hard to do that. Then give it the symptoms and ask it and see if it'll tell me to like glue some shit together, some crazy shit that like I can like test. Because I'm afraid it's just going to say like, oh, well, you just need to buy the specific part and replace it, which of course that's what should be done. I don't want it to say that. But I'm trying to brainstorm that idea. I think it'd be a fun video series, but we'll see. I might tell it like, pretend like the U.S. has been hit with a fucking, an EMP and everything's shut down and blah, blah, blah. And I've got to fix this with just the stuff I have laying around and see what it suggests. But we'll see. My sister Jennifer's getting married. I'll be in and out around sometime next week. And other than that, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you enjoy me bitching about stuff as much as I enjoy bitching about stuff. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I'll see everybody on the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye. Shout out to Bert.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag
and his impromptu defensive hand jobs.
Don't have
I hear they're the best.
To call out the people on this planet by name.
Thanks for those videos, Dr. J. I'll watch them about the ICE shooting.
The rest of the world, you don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best. You know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Piss 'em off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6 cents for the stupid shit. Where my true believers? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, and to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like Thor in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about
Good night, guys.
Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen